Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all in this truth from who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit, and I'm entitled this one, Economic Collapse is Coming. Because this whole Iran versus U.S. situation is leading to the price of a barrel of oil that is forecasted is going to hit $200, which is going to lead to the price of gallon here in the U.S. to go up even more, because it already went up $1 in the last week. And people may look at it like, okay, it just went up 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. It's not going to get bad. But as long as that Strait of Hormuz is closed, the price of a barrel of oil is going to constantly go up. And this is what it's leading to. It's leading to the collapse of this economy, the collapse of the dollar. Because if you have gas prices go up, that's going to lead to everything else going up. Groceries, retail stores, goods, the price of phones, cars, then parts, and all the basic necessities of life. They're going to hit hyperinflation if this war doesn't stop. And Lord willing, it doesn't stop, because we know that the collapse of this economy has to happen first before that third world war goes nuclear. So Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, he does have to collapse the system. And what better way to do it than the gas prices is so damn high to the point people aren't going to pay for it. And then it's going to lead to that all hell breaking loose scenario, because people aren't going to be willing to pay no $50 for a gallon of gas. But these are the times we're coming into, where nobody's going to be able to work, nobody's going to have a job, and it's already bad as it is, but it's going to be so bad that literally nobody's going to be able to work. And then Esau, Edom, is going to offer that solution to that RFID microchip, which is the MOTB, and he's going to offer that universal basic income. If you take this, then I'll give you an allowance a month, as long as you behave and you don't talk bad about the government. This is Isaiah 19 and verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And we're in a spiritual Egypt, like it says in Revelation, and it's a spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt. Because after the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were delivered from Egypt, then that's when the collapse of that ancient Egypt happened. And it's going to be the same thing today, because the ones that uphold this economy, this society, are the Israelites. Because if you go to these rural, middle of nowhere towns, nothing but Edomites, those towns they've been crumbling, but now it's to the point where they can no longer sustain themselves. And the only reason why this economy, this dollar hasn't collapsed, is because of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They're the backbone of this country. But once nobody's able to work, not even the working class that are making this society go, that are the blood flow, the blood cells of the society, then it's going to lead to all hell breaking loose. Because if people aren't delivering, and that's one of the most important industries, the transportation industry. If companies aren't willing to pay their drivers because everything's too expensive, and people are going to be like, man, I'm not going to pay that much. Those goods are just going to have to sit there, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to lead to These grocery stores are being wiped out. Nobody having a job because companies aren't willing to pay their workers. They're not willing to pay them now. But how much more when the price of gas is so damn high that these companies are just gonna be like, nah, we gotta shut down. And this is what's coming to America, Babylon the Great, because these people over here, they're comfortable as all hell. You can't tell them shit. They think that what's going on over there in the Middle East isn't going to affect them, but it's already affecting their pockets, and it's only going to affect them more and more and more. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And that's what's happening. People are already looking at this place like it's on its way out. They don't have that same optimism like they used to pre-2020, before the C-19, before the LOCK downs happened. People aren't looking at the society like they used to. You know, back then, every year they claim, oh, this year is going to be my year. Next year is going to be my year. But people have thrown out those New Year resolutions out the window, because they see that this economy, it's on a downward spiral, and it's not. Like it says in Jeremiah chapter 51, Babylon the Great, America is not going to be healed. And this is why people are bugging the hell out. They're uncertain of their future, because DJ, Nero 47, Trump, that was their savior. But now that he's backstabbing his voters, his supporters, the MAGAs, people are looking at him like, man, what the hell are we going to do? You know, I thought this was our last hope. And our last hope is gone. And it's the same cycle. Oh, now we got to get another person in there that is going to fix the economy. But no, the U.S. is in deep waters right now with the whole Iran versus U.S. situation. And Lord willing, it doesn't de-escalate. It escalates more. And then that's what it's leading to. It's going to lead to the U.S. sending its ground troops. And they're going to get devoured, because the U.S. is not built to fight a ground war, because of the way that Iran is set up. Verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And the sound of the grinding, meaning the job market, nobody's hiring like they used to. But how much more when there's this price of a barrel of oil, it just goes up through the roof, $200, $300. It already went over $100 this morning. It says, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And that's what's happening. People aren't being comforted and distracted by the bread and circus like they used to back in the day. Everything's trash, you know, from the movies to TV shows to the music. It's all trash, letting you know that Yahweh Bashem El Shai is taking the mirth, he's taking the spirit out of Babylon the Great America, because America, it's on its last leg. It's just hanging on by a thread. And Yahweh Bashem El Shai is not going to prolong the age that this current empire is going to rule. Like it says in Job chapter 14, Yahweh Bashem El Shai already set up the bounds that Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, of the time that he has to rule upon the planet Earth. That's why he's trying to gain leverage by taking over Iran and its oil, but it's not going to work. It's going to lead to all these different countries to get involved. Russia, China. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth. All the merry-hearted do sigh. And that's how people are feeling right now. Because back then, when inflation wasn't so high, people were able to ignore the problems going on over there in the Middle East. You know, problems around the world. Oh, that doesn't affect me. But now it's affecting these people, and that's why they're bugging out. They're crying out. Especially all these people on TikTok. It'd be mainly Edomites talking about, man, I'm tired of my government, man. Nothing hits the same. Holidays don't hit the same. Because Yahweh Bashem El Shai is making the new wine, the bread and circus, the distractions, slowly just crumble because it's signaling the downfall of this empire. And that's how ancient Rome collapsed. When ancient Rome was collapsing, that's what it was doing. It was putting all these different bread and circuits on a mass scale. Now you have spring football, winter football, summer football, this soccer cup, this baseball cup, this basketball cup, to distract the people from what's going on around the world. But it is no longer working. People can't turn on the TV and distract themselves when they have real world problems. Verse 8, the mirth of the tabret ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. Verse 9, they shall not drink wine with a song, strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So all these different means of coping that these people are so accustomed to doing, it's not working no more, because Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is taking the spirit out of all these different coping mechanisms, the music, the concerts, the TV shows, because this place is on its way out. That's why nobody's selling movies out like they used to. You know, you have all these box offices low as hell because nobody's going to these movies. Nobody's going to these concerts. Nobody's buying, the newest Jordans because people are broke. And when people don't have that extra money, when they're just barely making ends meet to survive, people try to distract themselves, but it's not working. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. And you see all these different restaurants, venues, bars, clubs closing because nobody's going out like that no more. People don't have money. And then on top of that, you have everybody on edge because of the whole Iran versus U.S. situation. Iran straight up said, hey, y'all better be on alert, especially in these crowded venues, these bars, these clubs. But yet Jake is still going to these places like nothing's happening. But that's why Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to jack up the 2/3 of our people, because even though all this is happening, they're still out here playing around, playing games. Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And this is already happening, but it's only going to ramp up more and more to the point people aren't going to be able to be fake happy, because right now they're faking the funk. All these people at these clubs, these bars with the VIP sections, it's all bullshit. It's all an illusion that these people try to portray themselves like they're having fun when they're really not. And it's only gonna increase as the days go by with this whole Iran versus U.S. situation. People don't think that the geopolitics matter, but they do. They directly affect your pockets, how many hours you get at the job. And people are already complaining about my job cut my hours. They cut my days. That it's only going to ramp up more and more. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And that's why these people are still in that spirit of, nothing's happening, because you can still go to McDonald's, get you a Big Mac. You can still go to the grocery store and get you some Hot Pockets. You can still turn on Netflix and chill with your boo thing. So people aren't looking at these things like it's really important. But that's the spirit that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai wants these people to be comfortable, to be settled on their leads, even though these prices are going up. Because some people are still, living carefree, especially these Edomites in these mansions, these $1 million homes. But that's the beauty of it, that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to catch all these people off guard. It's that big snare and trap. I'm reading in the GNT, 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 21, GNT, the time is coming when food will be so cheap that people will think a time of peace and plenty has arrived. And that's the spirit that these people are in, because they see that the grocery stores are still packed. Oh shit, look at the beef section full of all fake meat, but people still think that, oh, we're good, we're chilling. Nothing's gonna happen. It says, but then disasters will spring up everywhere. Wars, famine, and great confusion. And this is already popping off, but since it's not in the souls of America, people think that, oh, okay, that's over there. That's not coming over here. But they're sadly mistaken. All that missiles flying over people's heads, people getting bombed, that's all coming to America, Babylon the Great, in the near future. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And that's why this is going to happen, because of the economic collapse. Nobody having jobs, nobody having money, nobody having food. Once you take the food, you mess with people's money, especially here in America, that's when people are going to finally lose it. And that's what Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, wants from these people. He wants them to lose their mind, to bug the hell out. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because these people, their confidence is based off of fiat currency. And when Esau crashes the system, that's when people are going to lose their minds. They're going to be like, man, what the hell? Here I put all my time, blood, energy, tears into building up this. But like it says in Psalms, I think chapter 137, except the Lord build a house, it's not going to stand. So America, Babylon the Great, this current kingdom, it's on its way out. I'm going to read it in the GNT, 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 22 in the GNT. Many people on earth will starve to death, and those who escape starvation will be killed in war. So that's what Esau, Edom is preparing, that nobody's able to work. So the only job that's going to be available is going to be fighting in the war. Oh, you homeless, you haven't ate, come join the military. Here you will provide you with 3 meals a day, shelter, water, and on top of that, protection. And a lot of people, they're going to sign up for it. Right now, people are trying to deny, oh, no, I'm not going to fight for the U.S. Hell no. But when it's so bad that there's no food, no water, no jobs, and the only job is to fight in the war, that's what people are gonna do to escape starvation. And those who don't choose to fight, they're gonna be slowly experiencing agonizing death of dying of hunger, and that's a horrible way to go out. But those who do fight in the war and choose to fight over there in the Middle East, they don't know that ultimately they're going to have to fight Yahweh Shai, our Lord and Savior, when he makes his second coming. But this is all coming in the very near future. But that's pretty much the point. I pray that this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from and who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.